So the layperson needs to understand that it is the household which is actually at the center of the whole story. So people can talk of big things like deficits and policy rates and all that, but it is the household in our avatars as the consumer, the worker, and the investor. Right? So the same person is a worker, an entrepreneur, an investor, and a consumer as well. So it is in the way that we earn, we spend, we save, and invest that the whole story of the GDP gets created. So we have a very crucial role. It's just that we don't have a voice. So companies will have lobbies, and intermediaries will have associations. The consumer is this disparate lot. Even the employees as a chunk are not united. I mean, the unions are a small part, and that's a different story. But every decision of the government has a bearing on individuals. So so we need to understand that when the government runs a very large deficit, so what is a deficit? Deficit is the excess of the government expenditure over revenue. Government collects revenue by way of taxation, and that's a separate story. Indians don't pay enough tax. So there's always a gap between the revenue that the government collects and what it spends. Sometimes when governments spend too much, 2008, the whole loan waiver, a huge amount was spent which India's budget could not support. That triggers inflation. It also triggers government borrowing, because finally the gap between government revenue and government expenditure is made good by government borrowing. You need the money to be able to spend, so the government borrows. When the government borrows excessively, it crowds out all of the other investments. So private sector finds it difficult to find money because the government has soaked up all of the money. So large inflations caused by excessive borrowing will hurt the savers, because what happens when you have very high levels of inflation is that your real return comes down. What is the real return? You're getting 12%, you're getting 10% on your bank deposit. But if inflation is 12, you're making a negative 2, right? So your real return is -2. So today, if my bank deposit is giving 6 and inflation is 4, I'm thinking my interest is very low, but it isn't. It's actually +2 because your inflation is at 4 and your interest is at 6. So we need to understand that macro events have a very large bearing on micro, on all of us as individuals, because when the government is not able to gather enough money, it uses something called financial repression. So India has been a textbook case of financial repression, which is that household savings are appropriated by the government very cheaply for its own use. And it's a hallmark of a low developing country, of a poor country. For us to be able to get out of financial repression, which means then people are able to get better rates of return, better financial products, markets open up. So we are in this transition between financial repression and the Indian saver investor getting a better deal. But everything that happens at the macro level impacts us personally, whether it has to do with taxation, whether it has to do with the banks getting recapitalized. So the whole NPA problem is really all of our problem, because as taxpayers, we are paying for that entire recapitalization of the banks, which is really bad loans made either by error or deliberately to people who haven't paid back. So, it's all interconnected. Even if a person is not paying his or her taxes, you're going to pay for it in terms of, inflation, your returns being nominal returns being, your real return being lower. So finally we pay, whether we pay from here or we pay from there, the payment will be by the individual. So that once we start understanding the economics behind the politics, maybe our political decisions also change according to that need.